Hi friends, so today we are going to talk about the story you read yesterday, Grandma's Secret. So in this story, we had two characters. We had Grandma and a little girl named Annie. And after you read the story, you had two tasks to do. You had to answer the question, what is one thing Annie and Grandma have in common? And then you needed to do your graphic organizer that talked about asking and answering questions. This was a drag and drop that we created for you guys to do. And these questions were based on things that happened in the story. So one of the questions that they provided was, who are the girls in the picture? Well, when we're talking about this, we want to make sure we look back in the story. And we have Grandma's Secrets right here. And as we come across different things, and as we answer questions, we want to look back in the text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Grandma's Secret before we start talking about this. So, Annie dreamed of being a famous singer one day. She and her grandmother both liked watching competition shows on TV that transformed ordinary people into singing stars. One night, Grandma brought down a small, dust-covered box from the attic. I'd like to show you some old photographs, she said. I think you might find them interesting. One photo showed four girls singing on stage, gathered around a microphone. They were wearing matching dresses and their hair was elaborately styled. Who are those people? Annie asked. Look at the girl on the right, Grandma said. Annie leaned closer, peering at the photograph. Oh my gosh, Grandma, that's you! What are you doing? I'm singing on TV. A TV show with my group, the Wildflowers, Grandma said. It was about 40 years ago. We recorded a song and it played on the radio. It was so popular that we were asked to perform it on TV. Why didn't you tell me this before? Asked Annie. Grandma smiled. Oh, I guess I just haven't thought about it for a long time. Now it was Annie's turn to smile. So, Grandma, what else have you done that you haven't told me about? So, this was a fun little story. So, the first question that you came across yesterday in your drag and drop was, who are the girls in the picture? So, when we talked about asking and answering questions, we made sure we went over that you need to look for details in the story. So, before you can pick an answer, you need to read the story and think about who was in the story. So, right here, it says, I'm singing on TV with my group, the Wildflowers, Grandma said. Oh my gosh, that's you, Grandma? So, we know that the girls in the photograph was Grandma's singing group, the Wildflowers. We look in our text and we find out our details. The next question that they gave you was, why does Annie's grandmother share the photograph? Well, when we look down here, we see that it says, Annie dreamed of being a famous singer one day. So, when we look at that, Grandma showed Annie so that she could see that dreams come true. Up here is where we see that fact about Annie. So, we look in the story to answer the questions that we have. So, your matching chart that you worked on yesterday should look a little something like this. We turned it into an exit ticket where you dragged and dropped. Remember, asking and answering questions are not the questions they say in the story, because sometimes people think that Annie asked the question and said, what are you doing? We're not looking for questions that were from the story, but about the story. So who the characters are, what is the setting, in things that are happening in the story, like the events. So when you're asking and answering questions, please be sure to go back and read to find your answer. Story details and text evidence are the best way to let us teachers know and to be better readers yourselves is by looking back in the story and telling us where you found your answer. You need to have proof of where you got your knowledge from. So asking and answering questions is something you can always do in any story you come across.